Welcome to the ezflight Talk Show. Today we're talking about 5 futuristic planes that were actually built in the past. These are planes that look like they're from the future, but they're actually built like a long time ago. So that's what we're talking about today on the ezflight Talk Show. We're going to try to do one episode every week talking about some really cool planes, maybe some new drones, or anything related to flight we're going to talk about on the ezflight Talk Show. So why don't we start it off with the first plane, Austin?
All right, so this is a Japanese prototype fighter that never really entered service. It's called the Shinden, and which in Japanese means magnificent lightning. Wow. And the idea behind it was to make something that had a very low profile, less wind resistance, and had a very high concentration of firepower up in the nose.
And it basically looks like backwards. The engine is in the back of the plane, the wing is in the back. And it's amazing that they had this all the way back in, what was the date here? First flight was in 1945.
August 3rd, 1945. So.
And it looks like a futuristic looking plane, kind of cool. And they never had it in combat, right?
No, I think they just barely test flew it. So.
But it did fly. So cool. All right, let's go to the next plane. The Henkel 178, and this was a German plane, right?
Yeah, it was the first airplane to ever fly off of jet power.
Wow, so this was before the German jet-powered plane?
Yeah, it was before the Me-262 and 163, so
wow.
this was the first.
Interesting.
It's kind of sad. It was destroyed in an American bombing raid in World War II. It was in a museum.
And the Me-262 had the engines on the wings. It had 2 jet engines on the wings. This one just had this straight through the body. Kind of like the F-86 Sabre.
Yeah, and America did bring back a lot of the research and actually a lot of the German scientists from Germany about jet engines and jet planes in general, which greatly influenced a lot of our first jet planes.
It's amazing how much the Germans, how advanced the Germans were in flight. And maybe we should actually do an episode about all the interesting German prototypes that never made it into production.
They had some weird ones.
It's very, very cool. All right.
This next plane is the Martin X-24 and X-24B.
And this was an experimental aircraft that was dropped from a B-52. It was like a space re-entry vehicle.
Yeah.
And it didn't have any wings was the main thing. So it looks like a spaceship. It looks really futuristic.
Yeah, it had what we call a lifting body, where the body was actually the wing portion of it.
And it looks kind of like a bullet, I would say.
Yeah, it does.
It just had a rocket engine, but it was mainly used to glide down from a B-52. But man, it looks like something from the future.
This next plane is a pretty old plane, actually. It's the French Ladakh.
French Ladakh. I have no idea. 0.22 was that the name of it? Wow.
I think they call it just ramjet.
And they had a it was ramjet powered. It looks like the whole body of the plane was an engine, was a ramjet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, actually.
First flight was in 1956, so it's crazy that it was that old.
But I think it started development a long time before that, actually.
Okay, it was powered by a ramjet that produced over 14,000 foot-pounds of thrust. That's amazing. It doesn't say the speed, but I'm guessing it was going to go pretty fast. It's amazing that this thing actually flew. It was more like a rocket ship. I mean, ramjets are crazy. Do you know how ramjets work at all? Basically, there's no spinning parts in a ramjet. It's just one solid tube, and air goes through, and then it has to be going extremely fast for this to work. But high-pressure air comes through, then gasoline and lighted gasoline is mixed with the air and just produces an extreme amount of thrust. And so it can go extremely fast. But they're not very practical. They take a lot of fuel, and they're only good up to extremely high speeds. So
yeah,
it's amazing. Let's go to the next plane, and this is a little bit newer plane, still pretty old. It's the Northrop YF23.
Yeah, this was the competitor to the F-22 back when they were trying to make their 5th generation fighters.
Yeah, I think generally when they bring a new plane, they'll have multiple companies compete to make the best one.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have picked the YF-23 over the F-22 just because it looks cooler, and I think it could actually go faster than the F-22. There are some advantages. But anyway, this is a cool plane. So the first flight was in 1990, but that's been almost 30 years ago now.
Yeah, so.
So Not super old, but
It certainly looks futuristic.
yeah, definitely. So that wraps up our selection for the 5 most futuristic looking planes that were actually built a long time ago. So maybe in the next episode we'll talk about some really futuristic planes that haven't been built yet.
Yeah.
Some really modern planes that, some like electric engine jetliners, some really weird modern planes that haven't been built yet. So if you want to see that video, stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah, so I guess that wraps it up. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like on the video if you liked it, and leave your comments down in the comment section.
All right, we'll see you later.